that obviously takes away some of our control in terms of how we can kind of move those budgets around.
Hi there and welcome to From Ideas to Results. I'm joined by Yumna, part of our paid team here at Sleeping Giant Media, and we are exploring all the things that have been happening in the world of paid. Right, maybe diving in straight away, we talked about a new feature that you mentioned regarding Meta and the ability to have sort of more control around individual ad spends as well. Can you sort of explore what that is and how people can utilize that?
Like we've discussed before with the Meta Andromeda update, where we've talked a lot about having to consolidate our campaigns, that obviously means that there's a little less segmentation going on, and it also means that where we want to put in budgets, for example, if we want to say this specific type of activity has X amount of budget and this does too, if we're consolidating all of that together in one campaign or one ad set, that obviously takes away some of our control in terms of how we can kind of move those budgets around. This new feature, the individual ad spend allocation, gives us the option, they're always
It's a mouthful, yeah.
But it gives us the option basically to pick how much of a percentage of the budget allocated to the ad set, for example, or the campaign that we want to give to that specific ad. And so you can kind of bring that up, bring that down, and you can also pick for how many days you want that to.
That seems almost counter to what they've been doing, where it's almost letting the machine make those sort of decisions. So what's the sort of, why have they done that, and why is that useful when actually, you know, my understanding of obviously how things have been changing and how we've optimized is that we're trying to run as much clean data through it and let the system make those decisions. This sounds to be giving more human control back to sort of individual bits. What's the sort of thought process behind that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess you kind of have to play a bit of a balancing game with stuff like this, right? Where the push is to have more consolidation, so we're going to have less campaigns, we're going to have less ad sets, it does give you that little bit more control. And it also means that you're kind of still benefiting the system in a way, because what you're doing is it encourages more consolidation because you still have that control. Let's say you've consolidated all your campaigns and you've got maybe like one ad set now that's got all your different ads in there, but you're like, oh, hey, I need to have a sale ad running. I need to make sure that it definitely gets X amount of the budget, because otherwise all the other ads have been running for ages. The system already kind of knows where it wants to, how often it wants to show people. More of the budget will be like kind of funneled through then, just because it knows they work well. But this sale ad really needs X amount of this budget. It then gives you the option to, and it's quite similar to the kind of the controls that we've seen with them before, where you could only have the start and end date at the ad set level, whereas now you can have the start and end date at the ad level as well, which we've had for a little while. So it kind of makes sense really where they are pushing more of that consolidation. Yes, it does mean we've got a little bit of extra control in that region, but it is just a kind of a fail-safe almost, that you can put things into an existing ad set and it won't tank just because all of that, like exactly like you say, all that historical data doesn't then work against this brand new ad.
Because almost some of the criticism of AI is it's very good obviously at like historical data, but if there's something that's coming up that it doesn't know about, it's never gonna prepare for it because it doesn't know what it doesn't know.
And it also just gives you a little bit of an option. Things that we have noticed with the ad systems before is that obviously they prioritize certain things that they know work well. So when something brand new comes in, sometimes it can be hard for it to get a little bit of that budget, or even if it is just, hey, we want to push this product today. Be quick fit, you know, that's seasonally, you know, around now is where we would maybe want to push aircon, for example, because it's around the time that, you know, we'd start using it.
Weather changes.
We might as well get it checked, so you're ready to use it again.
Yeah.
Or MOTs are in March and September for them as well. So we would ramp up the spend perhaps then in those months leading up to those. It just gives us a little bit more control in terms of, hey, let's just upweight this a bit more while still kind of following Meta's consolidation tactics.
Yeah. And in terms of kind of Google, there's a few new features added to Performance Max in a sort of similar idea. Can you explore those?
Right at the beginning, when Performance Max first came out, people did see it as a black box. What's going on? Yeah, it gets great results, but from where? And we slowly realized it was kind of cannibalizing search a little bit, and then, you know, we've worked to eventually we've got a bit more visibility on it. So these features, and I can read them from this list for you, are a first party audience exclusion, so you can exclude your customer lists in kind of like a shift towards we want new customers rather than having those
paying for people to come back again when they know the brand.
So we have first party audience exclusions of those. We also have budget reporting, which I think is going to be very interesting. So it projects end of month spend of your kind of thing and how that daily budget change will impact your performance.
So like a sort of preemptive for like pacing and forecasting. Exactly. That could be interesting.
And there, you know, it has had that kind of feature before, but this seems a little bit more in depth, if you will, and a little bit more structured. And then you've also got full audience reporting, so a breakdown of demographics, including age and gender, which is something that PMAX kind of shied away from to begin with. And then you've also got network segmentation, so you can segment your placement reports by network, so like when and where your ads showed, basically, which again is something that there are certain certain features that you can have for different campaign types, but for Performance Max, then we're getting more and more visibility of it, basically, which is great to see.
And I know you've been exploring with Manus as well. So could you just give us a bit of an quick overview of what Manus is for those that don't know, and how you've been using that in sort of conjunction with Meta particularly?
Manus was taken over by Meta, and it is essentially like, I think it's just like an AI essentially, like GPT. And so what they have done is they've integrated, so they procured Manus, and now they started integrating Manus into some of their product, also from an organic standpoint, but obviously we're primarily talking about pay today. The integration of those kind of AI tools within its like different business settings and all those different bits basically gives you a bit more automated guidance and insight as well. And then it also gives you it's got a really good advanced understanding of the task requirements of what it needs. So essentially I just had a little bit of a play with it, which is, it's always fun.
Where you start,
What I found really interesting is that it asks you for the specific ad accounts that you want to pull the data from. So when you create an account with it, you can create one with your Meta account. So I did that with mine. And then it gives you a list of every ad account that you are linked to. I have many to go through. So thank God it asked me, and it just pulled from all of them. But then you can pick either a specific ad account or multiple, and it will kind of produce whatever it is that you're asking for. So they already have templates of prompts that you can ask it for. So one that it gave was a performance review, basically, of the account. So I did that for one of our clients over February, and the insights it gave were actually quite good. I didn't know it was missing a little bit of context, but human beings would too, right?
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. And actually the way I think historically we have seen with AI, whenever we ask it to produce a PowerPoint or anything like that, it's a little bit off.
It's a bit ropey,
Yeah, this was great.
Yeah.
It was really well structured, and it broke things down, it told a narrative, it gave a story, and it was really helpful. So I think if we are able to provide it context ahead of time, the fact that it's pulling directly from the interface as well is great, because then it's not getting its numbers confused, it's literally using the data it has available. So it'd be really, we're really keen to kind of fine tune and work with it and see what else it can pull. I think we also did a creative performance review, which obviously is a big deal with Meta Andromeda. And that was quite interesting as well, because it looked at all of the performance of those ads, but also then was able to tell me which ones worked well, bits of it that it thinks why it worked well, and then based on that, the recommendations for the next ones as well. So it was like, oh, instead of just saying for sales, like X amount off, add a little extra line below it just to make it a little bit more enticing. So it was really interesting that it had really clear insights and actions actually to give from it. It's not perfect, but it was really interesting to see how far it will go. But I think there's definitely plans to integrate it more and more.
Yeah, fantastic. There we go. Lots happening in the world of paid. And also we recently did a live event where we were exploring a whole range of things around Andromeda. So do check that out on our website. That's part of our marketing leadership series. And again, as ever, check out our socials for more content, and we'll see you again next time.